Hello. First of all, thank you for inviting me to speak. And a bit about myself. I'm 18 years old. I finished high school last year. And for the last 6 years, I was a member of the Youth Advisory Council, or the YAC. And about 3 years ago, I joined the Youth Disability Advocacy Network, or YDAN. 6 years ago, things were very different, and the goals and purposes of groups like YAC were not so clearly defined. The last 6 years have seen an incredible amount of change. When I entered high school, we were strictly limited in our use of social media. Only a small percentage had personal smartphones, and rules were much stricter concerning phones in school overall, as in you weren't allowed to bring them. When the YAC first formed, the goal of the group wasn't very clear to us future members. However, YAC quickly became my linchpin in surviving the change from primary school to high school. I had left behind all familiar faces. I went alone from my primary school to high school. This was before the year 8-7 transfer, and I left in the end of year 6 when everybody else left at the end of year 7. YAC offered a golden opportunity. I was able to interact and make friends with people who were facing the same challenges that I was, and it helped me build skills and confidence to make new friends in an environment that made me feel like part of the group from the beginning. It was with confidence that I gained from YAC that I began to take steps in my own life, which led to some great friends and a host of new experiences. Once YAC took its first steps towards helping others by raising money with a quiz night, after just 2 years we held the very first camp. It was later taken over by the West Australian Foundation for Deaf Children. It became the Deaf Strengths Camp. And it was an extension of YAC's first ever purpose for me, which was it gave kids who were moving from primary school to high school the chance to socialise and build friendships in a new environment, a skill which some kids hadn't practiced since kindergarten. And it was a great success. We had a great time, and it really took the edge off nervousness for some kids moving from primary school to high school, especially if they hadn't started yet. The YAC continued to change as our members grew older, and there were massive changes in societal pressures on young people. Kids were accessing social media at a much younger age. When the Commissioner's Office approached YAC to combine with the Visibility YAC, we decided to write our report on the uses of social media by young people with a sensory disability. Our findings were positive, and the survey showed many people were exercising safe use of social media and utilising it to maintain friendships and connect with people they had met only once on a more regular basis, like from the camp. It was through one of the members of Visibility YAC that I learned about YDAN. The Youth Disability Advocacy Network began in 2015, and I joined just before the launch event in October of that year. YDAN was a step in a completely new direction for me. Whereas YAC had been focused on hard of hearing, deaf and deafblind students, YDAN encompassed every person with a disability between the ages 12 and 25 in the state of WA. It widened my perceptions of the world beyond high school and helped me develop more specialised skills in presenting and public speaking. YDAN's goal in the community was also much different to what I had experienced. We aimed to build a network of young people with a disability who we could consult about issues that they faced and about how they wanted us to speak on their behalf. We decided to use Facebook, as it was a popular medium for communication, and we all found it fairly accessible. Our goal was that we were determined to bring the network and our services to regional areas as well. We made trips to Bunbury and Bridgetown, where we made contact with organisations, local governments and schools in an effort to bridge the gap between regional and metro communities. YDAN also developed a couple of services which focused on raising awareness in the community. The first of the set of workshops we first presented in 2015. The other, an experiential audit where we use our own disabilities as instruments to test the accessibility of a venue or service. We are also focusing on bettering these services as we go along. Once we can accrue funding, we will send members to be trained in skills which will bring a new level of professionalism to our services. YDAN is continuing to work with the Youth Affairs Council of WA to increase its capacity to do good in the community. We received funding at the end of last year, and we have great things coming up in the near future, including 3 more regional trips. In 2018, YDAN is undergoing even more changes. We are incorporating and making ourselves heard more and more across the state. We are also currently recruiting members to our executive committee. So if you know any young people or are a young person who would like to join in on this sort of thing, we urge you to find us on our website, the www.ydan.com.au. You can email us on hello@ydan.com.au, or we can be found on Facebook by searching the Youth Disability Advocacy Network. For everyone for everyone who doesn't meet community criteria, but would still like to contribute, come along to our Facebook and join our mailing list, where you can be kept up to date on our actions and any events or interesting articles we come across. Thank you for listening to me today, and I hope you'll enjoy the rest of this wonderful event.